Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're well. My name is Wendy Aura. I want to welcome you to the Youth Cafe podcast today. And today we are specifically talking about the 16 days activism against GBV. So you all know that this period started from 25th November and will be ending on 10th December as we mark the World Activism Against GBV. And this podcast is brought to you in partnership with the Young Women Leaders Connect. And I'm not alone today. I have two amazing panelists with me, and I'll give them 1 minute each to tell me something about you, let the audience know about you. So,
thank you so much, Wendy. Good evening. My name is Victor Ombis. I'm currently working with the Women Enterprise Fund as Women Empowerment Officer. And I'm also a blogger, a youth activist, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Victor. Karibu sana. And you?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacinta Karuki. I am a student from the University of Nairobi. I'm also working with the Young Women Leaders Connect as the communications officer. I'm also leading the Campus Me Too movement in my school as the advocacy pillar head.
Thank you. As you can see, we have diverse experience and diverse backgrounds when it comes to the issue of GBV. And just to make it clear, GBV is something that cuts across. That's why I had to bring on board a male and a female to get their perspectives, the experience. Him working with the women at grassroots community level, he's able to interact with them, and I'm very sure you heard the stories. With her at University of Nairobi and Campus Me Too, she has experience as a female student, as a young person. So we'll be dissecting and just collecting different views on this topic. And welcome again. I'm also a gender specialist. We'll be moderating for the podcast. So I'll go straight to the questions. And because we're talking about GBV, gender-based violence, I'll just throw it in the air. Who will go first? What forms of GBV do you know of? GBV is very wide. So maybe you can just break it for the audience. People just hear about this word, but they don't know what do you mean by GBV.
Okay. For the forms of gender-based violence, there are three main that I know of. Maybe there are some that are there, but the three main that I know of, the first one is physical one. Physical gender-based violence. Ile yenye ya
Mangumi.
ya mangumi. Yeah. Then there's online gender-based violence, the bullying one, which has become really rampant. I think it's now the worst. I can say it's the worst because many people are going through that online bullying.
Yeah.
Then there's sexual gender-based violence, which is also worst. And those are the ones I know of. Yeah. Unless
she can add.
The other panelist, Jacinta, can add.
Yeah, we also have economic violence. This is where sometimes you're limited or you're restricted on how to use your finances, or you're denied rights to access economic opportunities. We also have emotional. Have we talked about emotional violence? Is where a person uses psychological tactics to intimidate someone or manipulate you, to control you.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the forms that you've discussed. I think they're in the public domain. People are aware about them. But there's one I learned about yesterday that I want to share. It's called obstetric violence. I also didn't know about it until yesterday. So it's a form of GBV, especially on women in labor. If you've gone to, I don't know if you've experienced going to maternity wards. Yeah, but unasikianga too. So they realize that normally for the women who are in labor, there's a lot of demeaning words that are thrown to them, or because now of that process of labor. So it's categorized under obstetric violence. I think a lot of people still don't know about it, but we can now research more about it. And the good thing is that it was in the report of the Kenya Human Rights Commission. Yeah. So I also learned about it, and I hope our audience also learned. Feel free to share
Can I
with
add
us.
something? I also think the FGM in early marriages are still forms of
Yeah. True. They have the psychological.
But the FGM can it be linked to sexual and
Yeah.
also the emotional one?
Yeah. So the effects,
Yeah.
the effects can be emotional. The effects can be, it can be as sexually, maybe because you didn't give that consent.
Consent,
Yeah. So all of that, but so long as it is something that violates the right of that person, boy or girl, it is violence. Yeah. Okay, we are moving on so well, and I think as we continue, we'll now be giving examples. The most common sexual harassment is rape. Yeah, we have defilement. Yeah. So I'm just curious now because we are in the 16 days of activism. So for us, the young people, we also have a role to play. Yeah, in the 16 days, and even when the 16 days are over. So what do you think you can do as a person or as a youth organization? What can we do as young people? Yeah.
I think the main thing that I can say the main and also the first thing that we as a youth or any youth out there can focus on is creating awareness, because most people don't know such things. For example, you said about the one for labor. Can you
Obstetric violence. Yeah.
I usually see some people making fun about it. The way the maternity nurse told her in the labor when she was in labor pain, and people are laughing about it.
Yeah.
But they don't know such thing is a
form of GBV.
Yeah. So the first thing I think is creating awareness. Then after creating awareness, also we should help in reporting such cases.
Yeah.
Because even now, if you go to any police station or any sub county where the chiefs are, there's always a stand.
The gender
Yes,
desk.
the gender desk. We even have gender officers in every sub county. Yeah. So if any youth see such things, they should report such things. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to add anything about what can you
also
do as a
say
young person?
we should educate ourselves on the various forms of gender violence, how they affect us, the causes as well. Yes, also we can also join movements in activism. Also, we can be creative enough since we are young people by using arts, music, that's activism, to spread the message.
Yeah, and I've just remembered you said, you mentioned Campus Me Too.
Yeah.
They also have, maybe tell us about that. It's a movement.
Yeah.
So when you talk about joining movements, so you are actually doing it.
Yes.
So maybe what do you do with the Campus Me Too?
Campus Me Too is a student-led movement to end sexual harassment from staff on campus. And we have 5 demands to the universities, which is mandatory. First, we train the staff. All staffs must be trained on sexual harassment. We also educate all the enrolled first years. They must watch an educational resource on sexual harassment. It's also mandatory to all the universities to have a gender officer, a gender desk where the students can report the cases, and also reviewing the policy, the sexual harassment policy.
Yeah, I think you're doing a good work with that, because now when you're talking about what we can do as young people, like whatever little we can do, so long as we are not standing on the outside and saying, no, I'm a young person, I can't do this. Yeah, so it's a good thing. Yeah, and as we move on, you also mentioned that you work with women economic empowerment. And if you look at these cases of GBV, majority of them affect women and girls. So I'll just, before I ask your question, I'll just read there's a few statistics here that I have. So maybe some people don't know about it, but now they'll know it today. So what I realized, the first one was 30%. This is according to Spotlight Initiative by the United Nations. So 35% of girls and women in the world have experienced physical or sexual abuse. Then also 70% of all human trafficking victims worldwide are girls or women. Then more than 700 million women alive today were married before the age of 18. Before the age of 18. So if you look at these numbers, you're looking at 70%, 700 million. It means that women are highly affected by GBV. So from experience working with the women, and you are in the economic space, so how do you think being economically empowered can help address the issue of GBV?
Okay, first thing, one of the main causes of GBV is poverty.
Yeah.
For example, you have said that the statistics that you have read about the women that were married under 18.
18, yeah.
18. Okay, so I think most the one that their family are marrying them off, they are marrying them off because of money.
Yeah.
Maybe there's somebody want to give them money, so they marry them off. So with when women are empowered, let's say the ones that are now above 18, because the ones that are below 18,
They're still
okay,
minors.
they are still minors. So it gives them that platform to be, can I say, to be free.
Yeah.
So they cannot be easily influenced. Also, when you are economically empowered, you can be able to access that education.
Yeah.
So the issue of ignorance, it's out of there, because the most experience that I've faced, you find that those women that are really down, they economically, they're the ones that faces this
Gender-based violence.
Because sometimes also they are the mother is poor, the father is poor, so every time the father is just angry. When it comes home, so when
Uchumi ni mbaya.
So even a small thing, umejua sasa anasahau hata nini, sasa analeta ile hasira kwa nyumba juu maybe alienda kutafuta akupata. Lakini saa zile zenye tumewaempower economically, tumewafunza, we don't just give them money, because what we do, we give credit. We don't just give them money, we also train them. And we also train them on this gender based. So once we train them, we give them affordable credit. Now wanakuwa sawa, wanajipanga.
Yeah, so they say it gives them more power, and they're able to make decisions on their own. Yeah, especially I think nowadays, even if you watch the news, you hear a mother killed 5 children with a knife. I don't know, the father killed the whole family. Like there's so much happening at homes, domestic violence, people beating each other. And yes, it's very true that we have to be economically empowered. And unfortunately, the cost of living is high. So many people are really frustrated. Yeah, you pass people. Have you ever walked and just seen someone talking to himself? Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen a lot. And I don't even want to distract them, because I don't know what they're thinking. Yeah, but it's just true. You can imagine that person going back home and then there's no food. And then kidogo too, you start shouting at your partner, and then kidogo, you're thinking of now killing. So you're frustrated. So it's very true.
There was also a story on the television around 3 weeks ago where the father married a very young girl to a rich man. It happened in Northeastern. So I think in such cases, you find the family is so poor. So poor. So the only way out of that poverty is now marrying off the girl. And after marrying off the girl, if you marry a 14-year-old girl to a 60-something old man, So how do we expect that guy to survive? Yeah, so such cases. So that's why the first thing I think, even if it is not entirely the work of the government, but we should first focus on economic empowerment first. Through that economic empowerment, we'll be able to eliminate ignorance. Because after that, we empower the child will go to school, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So I think you are doing well with the program. You said it's Women Enterprise Fund. Okay. So I think also others, non-NGOs, they have programs on economic empowerment.
Yeah.
And we are still on the causes. So you said poverty.
Poverty.
So maybe Jacinta, what other causes do you think? If you talk about sexual harassment, we talk about emotional torture, emotional abuse. So what causes this? Do you think is the people, they don't understand that we have laws, or they're just frustrated?
To begin with, we have very little education. There is limited education from the people, and that's why we are stressing on the awareness part. Because you find, for example, sexual harassment, it's not only physical. It can be verbal, it can be non-verbal, but people don't know this. You find you're being harassed, but you are not aware. So I think awareness is one of the reasons why we have many cases.
Yeah. And during when Young Women Leaders Connect, partnering with the Youth Cafe, we've been keen on online GBV, because many young people will use the internet, the digital media, and there's little research and little statistics, because many people don't report about these things, but it is there. So do you think that the young people, they're not aware that whatever they're doing is, like, for example, if it is stalking or maybe just abusing someone online, do you think they don't know that that is violence, or they're just tough-headed? Let me say tough-headed. Because we have the law, we have the cybersecurity laws, but they're still rampant, especially time ya siasa. There's a lot of abusing online. And Victor, you've been a blogger. You can tell us.
I think there is law, but I don't think that law is so tight. Because even now, if we look at these social media platforms, the X, the formerly Twitter, they will ban you for even saying something. Then later, they now allow you to continue.
Okay.
That's the So even let's say physical sexual abuse. Let's say a lady or a man has been abused. She will go to report, or he will go to report. Then the law, I don't know how our laws are, because there will be a way where they will settle this matter out of court. So after they settle this matter out of court, the same person that performed this act,
The perpetrator,
he will continue with the same thing to another people. So I think we should have a law where if such a person, in cases of sexual abuse or physical abuse, there's nothing like settling out of court. Then the social media platform should have a way that they link with every social media platform, that when you cyberbully someone in X, the formerly Twitter, you are being banned in X. Then also you are also being banned in YouTube, you are being banned in Instagram, you are being banned in Facebook, because there are some people who cyberbully people in Facebook. They're being banned in Facebook. Then they go and cyberbully again
in Twitter.
Then also there's also this problem. Twitter and Facebook, most of them, there is no auto translation of our local languages. So I can now decide to go and cyberbully someone with my local language. There's nothing
they can't translate.
They can't translate. So that's I think this big company should have a way with the government of every country that that there's a way they can track those who cyberbully people with
Using online.
yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. You wanted to say something?
I also think we can prevent that sometimes, the violence, by blocking people and reporting.
Yeah.
You know, ukuji tu unaniambia vile unataka. When aku block na report. Hadi WhatsApp, I think we usually do that. Sijui kumshaifanyia mtu hivyo. Wewe unaniambia aje kwa simu yangu, kuja hapa. Block, report.
Especially these foreign numbers.
Yeah.
I've gotten these messages from Indian men. Then just some strange number, and then they start, and then the next thing they're sending some nude photos. Yeah, so yeah, you say the blog.
I also think we should educate ourselves in a way the school plays a role, and even parents to the kids. Unawaambia, you can't just post anything. You'll be attacked.
Yeah.
You limit what you post. Yeah.
So, just to share, we have the government of Kenya, they enacted the Computer Misuse, they call it the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act in 2018. So, the main reason was to protect confidentiality, integrity, and availability of critical computer systems, programs, and data. Okay, it's a whole lot of things. So we have the law, but as
It's
you've
not,
mentioned, it's not watertight.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think I should mention, because it is somehow political. You see, there's this guy called Nuru Okana.
Who?
Nuru Okana.
Oh.
This one for Bunge la Wananchi. So hapa juzi tu he was arrested for using that cybercrime act for telling the president anarchy. And he was taken to court for that and given a 10,000 bond. But when somebody now cyberbullies you and you go and report, because even when we were coming, I was on Twitter, there's a lady who is complaining so much, somebody has been abusing her, and she reported to DCI and nothing has
Been done.
But such petty cases is the one that the government are focusing on. So even if that law is there, I don't think...
So it is not favoring everyone.
It is not favoring anyone. The only way, I think the only way that we can reduce or eliminate such thing is through this online, through these social media platforms. They are the ones that can do this.
Yeah. The big tech companies.
Yeah, the big tech companies. Because if now we start now also to depend on government much, government, our African governments,
they're not so effective. Yeah, that is very true. And I think also now, because we're delving into online GBV, yes, there's issue of creating awareness. People don't even know that you can report. Yeah. There's a friend of mine, she also shared that she vied for was it MP? So at some point, her Facebook was hacked. And because at that time, she had many followers, and like she had a big following online. So what they did with her to destroy her, I think it was the opponent work, they hacked into her account, and then they were just posting a lot of stuff, and then she could not access her Facebook. And Facebook was a stronghold. So she went reporting, she used other means of reporting, but she never, up to date, she has never recovered that page. So the issue, I think it's also an issue of how effective is reporting. Yeah. But at least, I think it also starts with us. Block. We have the block button. If you feel somebody is coming to your space with toxicity, yeah, you can put those settings. Even for tagging, you can put that
because
setting.
sometimes there was this issue where, I don't know, you just find everybody has tagged you, and what they have tagged
and 99 others
is on pornographic material. So your family, your friends your mutual friends can
see it on it.
So you may think that person was the problem. He or she was hacked.
Yeah.
So they acted because they used to send some some code, they ask you that they are trying to register a Facebook account, but it is possible. So there's a code sent to you. So you send them that code.
Then they hack account.
Now your Facebook page will just be full of don't watch this alone.
Sensitive material.
I was experienced that. So it was then later my Facebook account was hacked and now I can't access it.
Up to date.
Up to date. When I try to access it, Facebook gives me a lot of questions. And when I answer those questions, they continue giving me those questions. So I just see.
How can we control that? Because it's I've seen it not once, mostly Facebook. Yeah. You go, una view page ya mtu uko here. Here.
I think the way ulisema awareness, most people don't know this. And the people that can create such awareness are these social media platforms. Yeah, because them because you can't just expect an NGO to use a lot of money to go to the television, and most people don't watch television. And also those NGOs, the only way also they can create this awareness also just through social media. So I think the government should partner with this social media platform, the big one, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to create
TikTok. Yeah. And just the other day, now that you mentioned TikTok, I've just remembered. And a lot of debates, they wanted to ban TikTok. What's your thought of that? Do you think it's promoting too much hatred and GBV?
No, for me, I think banning TikTok is a waste of time. Because what you see in TikTok, there's something called algorithm. Yeah. So if it is, you see what you want to see. Yeah, so even if you ban that TikTok, if somebody wants to watch those things that are
they still find them.
They still find them. The only thing is just create awareness. Yeah, because the government will not with you inside your house.
Yeah, serikali. So it's wanasemanga man for himself, God for us all. Yeah? Okay. So
the same way Kitambo, there was a lot of FGM. So they tried to arrest, but it was still continuing. The only way that FGM reduced was through awareness, and through
educating people,
and through education.
Oh, that is very good. I think we have a lot of huge responsibility to handle the issue of online GBV. Because right now it is something that is unstoppable. Like we are past social media. We are going into AI. Yeah, like right now we are using AI, and very soon, and our kids are always on YouTube watching Cocomelon. Yeah. So even for the kids, I think already they've started. So it's like this generation is into the digital age. So we need to put a lot of emphasis on awareness on online GBV. And so I think we've handled how we can reduce online GBV. And now the 16 days of activism, I'm back to it. On the last day, which is 10th December, it's also the International Human Rights Day. And yes, this year, 2023, the theme is on freedom, equality, and justice, Human Rights Day. So, and we are also marking 75 years since the Declaration on Human Rights was adopted. So, I'm just wondering, because we're talking about GBV, and then there's human rights. So, what do you think is the relations between the two? Maybe just what's your thought about human rights and gender-based violence?
Okay, so first, we have to know the human rights. Human rights are many. Yeah, there are freedom of expression, freedom of choice,
freedom of association,
freedom of association, rights to a good housing, right to
life. There's so many.
So even if we start to rights to life, if somebody now is physically abusing you, anakutwanga. Ama somebody anaku emotionally abuse. Anakufanya you can be thinking of suicide. Now, the good thing with the Kenya law is that if somebody assists you in suicide, he or she is also capable of going to jail.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so hiyo pia sitakuwa affect ile nini yako ya right to life.
The right to life, yeah.
Kitu kama hiyo. If somebody tells you that for you to get food, lazima lale na wewe. Na hata kama ni mtoto mdogo, because kuna cases kama hizo, unapata mtoto ameachwa na anko yake, na anko yake anamrape, ni ampatie chakula.
Yeah, even the sex for pads.
Yeah, even sex for pads. Hata bila amepeana example ya hiyo Kenya wanafanya kwa campus. Uko university gani?
Nairobi.
During our time hizo vita hizo ni hiyo nini baada haikuwa.
The movement.
The movement haikuwa. Na tulikuwa na cases mingi by the way. Ya hizo nini from students to student, staffs to
student.
Yeah. So vitu kama hizo right to education. Kama amekunyima anakuambia usipo nini na yeye kitu kama hiyo anaku emotionally abuse na pia na sexually abuse usipo nini na yeye anakupatia
so they are violating the right.
Yeah, they're violating the right. So anything that is gender based violence is violating
the rights. Yeah. So it's very important to note that they are correlating very well. They go hand in hand. If you violate a human right, it is the same as you are violating that person. It is a GBV. So they normally say that GBV starts where the human right stops. Yeah. So they cannot like fit in one room. You cannot talk about protecting rights to life, freedom of speech. And talking of freedom of speech, freedom of association. You've seen the attacks by journalists. We've had issues with the journalist reporting, and then they're being told they're reporting, maybe they're partisan or something, attacks on journalists. And that one is infringing right to freedom of expression, for example.
Giving information.
Yeah, giving information. So it's very important to note that that's why it is put under the 16 days of activism, so that on the last day we talk about now human rights and GBV. Yeah. So I think I have almost the last question because our time has really gone, but I'm loving the conversations. Yeah. I hope our audience also love the conversation. We welcome comments, yeah, and recommendations, suggestions on the topic. Now, we're still talking about GBV. What do you think can be done better? We are now ending the 16 days of activism. We've seen NGOs doing a lot of things. I don't know, has the government talked about it? I've not seen anything formal from the government. Yeah. The Human Rights Commission, they just launched a report on GBV. They just say the associations, a lot of associations doing something during the 16 days. So do you think that it is working well, all these activities? Are they helping, or what needs to be done to better so that next year we don't repeat activism and we're not seeing change? What do you think can be done better in everything about GBV? Maybe as at personal level, as family, community, nation, global.
Okay, at national, personal, we can start with the awareness. It shouldn't end here after the 16 days are over. We should continue and make it a norm. Yeah, for the government, I think we can better the policies. Mostly for the survivors, they find the right support. And we usually say it's not their fault. So we have to make sure that we support them till the end.
Yeah, to see the two, you give them hope and then you leave them.
Just to add on Kenya Msema. For me, I think, why should we only have 16 days of activism instead of 365 days of activism? Yeah. Because this thing is something that should be going on from January to December. Because if you put it 16 days of activism, the 16 days are short. People are then the worst it is in December. Yeah, it starts in November and ends in
December.
I think another thing we should also teach kids from high school, those who are in high school, primary, about it, because they are the people that can even report such cases. Because a kid may see at home he or she is being abused, but hawezi report because hana ile idea. But tukianza kufunza hizo vitu zenye juu, kama tunaona tukiingia campus, there was a course for the course a mandatory course, HIV and AIDS.
Yeah.
Then
First
there
year.
was communication.
Yeah.
So I think also we should be teaching such things about on how to report, on how to prevent. Yeah, because even in those developed countries, they are being taught such things. That if you see such things, you dial 911. That's why there was a friend who was telling me through the Facebook that huko ukichapa hata mtoto unaweza shtuka tu mtoto ame dial 911 akapiga. Lakini hapa Kenya 999 haifanyi. Wao wanajua, nafunzwa shule, mtu akikupiga, mtu akikufanyia hivi una report. Jana nilikuwa nasoma case nyingine ya a 3-year-old babake ilifanyika Florida some 16 years ago. Babake aliua mamake. Alafu akabari mamake, alafu akaweka concrete. So mtoto mwenye alikuwa 4 years akaambia wote ni babake ndiye aliua mamake. But watu hakubelieve. 16 years later huyu mtoto alienda kachimba hapo, akatoa the body. Then wakashika babake. Because hiyo vitu zenye walikuwa nafunzwa kitu kama nini, lakini hapa country yetu vitu kama hizo hatufunzwi, hata uweze kumbuka Kenya ulisoma nini
Class 2.
they are not focusing on such things.
So I think also this awareness that you're talking about, let's start it from a very basic, from as early as PP1, PP2, because these kids actually they know how to report.
They know how to report.
They report these small things like you left behind a banana, nani alikula, like they know. Wao alikuwa anashinda kiniangalia, so they know how to report.
The funny thing, nursery school or P1 teacher will tell you ati leo nikifunza kuna ule mtoto mdogo mwenye aliniambia ati sijui baba alipiga mama, kitu kama hiyo. Na kuna kenyu mwalimu anafanya kitu kama hiyo. Kumbe ajui yule amereport. So I think
so the people they are reporting
to inafaa ikue, hata kama tunasema hizo nini, pia tunafaa tukue ni sisi wenyewe, inafaa ikue culture. Tunaichukua as something very important.
So I think it is a basic urgent issue about starting with this basic level of our children, and also when they report to us, let's not assume ati you're a small kid, hakuna kitu unajua. So these kids they normally see and they remember. So you've talked about 911, and now I wanted to maybe alert us that in Kenya we have some hotlines that I'm not sure about if they're working. I'm not sure about that because I've never called, but at least let's know that we have hotlines. So the national GBV hotline is 1195. Counseling hotline 1190. These ones are for, we have Amani Counseling Center. They also have a hotline. NCCK Health Coordinator, they have a hotline. I think LCVT, they also have a hotline. So there are quite a number. I think we have organizations like, for example, CRU Kenya. CRU, they have a hotline. Nairobi Women's, okay, I'm not sure.
I think almost all hospitals, or most have been. I also another thing I wanted to add that we can also help to on the online one. There's something called cancel culture.
Cancel.
Ile je mtu akifanya makosa, maybe afanye GBV anakuwa cancel, hawezi pata nini. Lakini pia kuna wenye pia wameabuse hiyo. For example, niki physically abuse na niko na biashara yangu, so hiyo biashara yangu customers hawakuji, kitu kama hiyo.
So like you get they publicize about whatever you did, then they cancel you.
So but sasa inadepend sasa your followers, kama ni uko na followers wengi nini wanaku
they leave you, they unfollow.
So but kuna pia naweza sema iko na good side na bad side, because kuna wenye wana take advantage of
to destroy people. Haters.
Kama kuna historia ya huyu mwenye kama mmoja movie ya The Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think I'll just say that.
So kuna anaitwa acting na Johnny something, then kuna alikuwa na captain anaitwa Ambad alisema nani alikuwa anampiga hadi huyo akakuwa cancel. Hata hiyo The Pirates of the Caribbean 4 haikutoka juu ya hiyo, juu alikuwa cancel. So vile walienda wakareplay hizo ma videos zenye juu, kumbe
that's the producer,
no ni actor. Alikuwa na record, kumbe kurecord wakapata mwenye alikuwa anamwabuse physically ni huyu msichana. So they canceled the movie. Amekuwa cancel hadi akama US akaenda kuishi Spain.
So it's working in other countries.
It is working in other countries. Kenya hapo walijaribu kucancel, although mwenye alikanceliwa si wa Kenya. Ni Mkenya lakini hayuko Kenya. Walijaribu kucancel Andrew Kibe. Kama unajua Andrew Kibe. Walijaribu
cancel. But it's still going on with YouTube.
But baada nini ndio hiyo ameform app yake, but Kibe ana Kenya anafanyanga kuna emotional. Ameform ya Afrika, but anakuwa anafanya Kenya anasema emotional juu yeye anakuattack ile nini. So
I think I've watched some of his videos.
So that cancel culture ikiwekwa vizuri inaweza ni even now
people can be awake.
Hata nikienda out of topic ya GB nienda hata hii Kenya naenda between Israel and Gaza. Kuna there are calls to cancel hizi ma Starbucks juana finance. Na zile countries zingine they do it. So if we can nini hapa Kenya, si ati mtu mkubwa a politician abuse someone, abuse someone, akishikwa supporters wake wanaenda na yeye kwa nini.
They paid.
Former governor Kidera Kislap Shebesh. People sasa instead of now
talking about
calling out the governor, they were praising him for slapping Shebesh.
So I think also the people, for us as a society, we also have a role. Like there's a mentality, especially when it is political, and then these politicians, they have followers. So the people, they tend to cheer or like support that person, yet they know very well that is GBV.
Now politicians are one tunasema they are our
role models.
So there should be a law where if you have physically abused somebody, you can't fight.
True.
If you are sexually abuse somebody,
you can't fight.
It should be a law. Even as long as you are accused, you are suspended until that case is done. But here in Kenya, somebody
they'll still vie.
He has money, can still vie.
So I think it is an issue that affects all of us, and all of us are involved. All of us are encouraging it. So it's upon everyone to play their part. Like you never tolerate GBV. GBV, it's a thing. It's an act that demeans someone. It's an act that has no humanity. It makes people feel inferior. Even physically, mentally, it affects people. So let's not cheer people or take sides. Even if it's your favorite person, just tell the person, this is wrong. I know when you mtu yangu, but this one, you did wrong. So for us, as we mark or end these 16 days of activism, we are calling out everyone who is watching and who is hearing now to be at the forefront of being the change by not supporting what is wrong. Always do the right thing. So as we conclude, we are concluding now. I'll give you 3 seconds each. What can you say or parting shot about the topic?
We should continue educating ourselves from the forms, effects, how we can prevent. And again, I conclude by saying ignorance is not a bliss. Until it affects you, ndo utakuwa concerned. Nafaa kuripoti wapi? Please be concerned sahi. educate
Don't wait.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'll just end with this. Let's have days of activism every day
Yeah.
instead of 16 days. Yeah.
So I think the 16 days were just made so that it's like the same way. Birthday, there's a special day.
Yeah.
Birthday,
But
but
you should
obviously,
live every
yeah,
day.
if you can live every day. In fact, if you have money, you can eat cake every day if you want. But there's that one special day.
I used to angaka one day. Okay, Kenya jaribu kumaanisha even
You should not stop.
as a society we should take this thing of GBV
Seriously, yeah. So, yeah. So it's even beyond the 16 days. Let's continue preaching the gospel of end GBV. Keep our online safe. That was the theme for the two organizations. Keep online safe, end GBV. And as young people, all of us are young here. All the two organizations are youth serving. We call upon the young people to come out and talk about this thing. Report, educate a friend. If a friend comes to you and talks about it, help him or her to report. If you hear about something happening, be on the outlook, educate them, this is wrong, this is right. And above all, do the right thing always. Because if you do the right thing, you will not violate somebody's right. Yeah. So for me is a vote of thanks to thank all our listeners and the conveners of this, the Youth Cafe, the Young Women Leaders Connect. It has been amazing, and we've done this in an amazing way, and we hope that the conversations never end today. Let's keep the conversation rolling. Any comments, suggestions, recommendations, if you want to be part of the podcast, more topics to come, please reach out on the comment section on all our social media pages, all our Twitter handles, the YouTube channels, and we'll be there to guide you on what to do. So we thank you so much, and we hope you've learned one or two. From me, Wendy, Jacinta, and Victor, thank you so much, and see you.